Hello and welcome to this member spotlight with me, Kate Cherry, with the Athena Network Bedfordshire and St Albans. I'm joined here today by Jackie Forster from Jaxstar Solutions. Jackie specialises in business support for companies. Hi, Jackie.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming today. I'm really excited to find out more about or share. I know more about your business, but to share more about you and your business and your tips for women starting out in business right now with the wider community. So I'm going to jump right in and ask you. Well, I'm going to jump right in and turn my phone on mute for a start. That would be helpful, so we're not interrupted. But tell me a bit more about your business and how you help people.
Thanks, Kate. Thanks for having me today. I help businesses by giving them control back of their business in terms of their back office. So we support businesses with how they are running their back office in terms of how they're handling their customers, from the pre-sale to the sale to the after-sale, perhaps how they're managing their data in terms of whether they've got a system in place or their emails, diary management, calendar management. It could be down to their finances. How are they processing all the different ways that we communicate with our customers and our suppliers? So giving them back that control by either working with them directly or giving them hints and tips and tools so they can take it away and implement them themselves.
I love that. And it's not just you, is it? You have a team.
I do have a team. Yes, being a business owner, I'm all about delegating, and I can't grow the business I have today. I've had my business 10 years, and I wouldn't have got to where I've got to without my wonderful 6 associates. But also I have an extended team in terms of I like to work with other businesses. Being a go-to person, I'm often asked about IT or branding or web design or other things that go into running our businesses. We can't be a master of it all. So my team, I have 6, and they will have their own individual skill sets that we can then deliver to customers. But I also work within other businesses as well, and that's really collaboration and delegation for me is the success of my business and why I've got to where I've got to.
And that's so pivotal, isn't it? You said we can't be the master of everything, and recognizing that you need to. So if a business owner can't do all the things that you help with, well, you also have different specialities and work with people who have different focuses. So that's great to be able to offer all the different specialists to do different tasks. I love it. So tell me a bit about how did you start your business? What did you do before?
Well, before, when I was in the corporate world and in the employed world, I was always in the back office. I was always the one starting off within admin teams and learning how to run a successful admin teams. And for the last 6 years of my employment, I ran those admin teams. It was always within sales environments, and it was always looking at how does the customer get the product or service that we are delivering. Salespeople want to sell, admin wants to do admin, customer wants their product or service. So it was about joining those dots up and looking at the process. Any business, it doesn't matter whether you are one or thousands, needs to have good processes in place. And that process can be 1 line, 2 lines, or a huge document. But when the process is followed and when the process is embedded and tested and it works, that's when a business runs efficiently or more efficiently and more effectively. It doesn't mean that a business can't work without it. It just takes us a little bit longer, and there's pitfalls along the way, such as our customer service or the delivery of our service or products. And I decided 10 years ago that I'd like to run my own business. I had no idea if anyone would want to, or how you went about doing that within admin, because the term business support or freelance business support wasn't so well known. But I decided to set out on my path, and I'm delighted that I did, and delighted that I'm still here now. And I absolutely love what I do. I love nothing more than watching a business grow, either growing with them or giving them those tools. And there's been plenty of times they'll come back to me every now and then, right, I'd like to work on this. Can you help me with this next step? And they use their team to then pull them forward. And I love that.
So providing that value that people need in the way you want to, and you've been able to get that kind of flexibility in your personal life as well, work-life balance, in order to do the other things you need to be doing.
Absolutely. When I set up the business, I had a husband, and after 3 years, I had two daughters, under 2 years apart, and carried on working. And now, actually, I am able to do the school runs, be there for my family. My husband's a teacher, so having those school holidays, that actually, now that they're older and not babies, is actually really valuable. I couldn't have done that without my team. And one thing I just like to add there is, one of the first questions I always ask anyone who makes an inquiry into my services or what I do is, are you a business owner, or are you an employee of your own business? And which camp would you like to be in? And I'm delighted to say I'm a business owner, and that means I can take time away from my business, and my business still thrives and still survives.
That's so important, because so many people go into business for themselves and end up just being an outsourced employee, for for whoever they end up working for. And so actually nothing much has changed except for the stress of being self-employed. So I think that's incredible. Well done. You
Thank
should be
you.
proud. So what you joined Athena when we launched the virtual only group, and I know from our conversations at the time that you were really excited about that. So tell me why you joined Athena and how you've found it so far.
I joined Athena because prior to the girls, and I'm very open about it, I networked. My time was my own. It's very different when you have a family, and I'd had the business 3 years and I networked a lot. And then, due to limitations of having a family and wanting to still deliver to my clients and not having a team at the time, my networking did fall back. And I just found in the last couple of years that I miss that collaboration. I mentioned it earlier, collaboration is key. And it's not necessarily because of doing business together, but having that support network of people that know you, know your business. Because out of networking comes friendships and lifelong friendships. But some of those are friendships, some of those are business relationships. So I really miss that. So I think I was on a path actually this time last year, just pre-COVID, to really enhance my marketing, my networking, and who was within my kind of business circle now. I'm very lucky that some of my contacts I've networked with 8 years ago, 9 years ago, I'm still in contact with, which is great, but doesn't mean that there isn't room for more. And actually, your post, when I saw your post for a virtual group, because one of my struggles, as people understand, with the family and childcare, was networking is never just the 2 hour meeting. So when you offered the virtual group, it sort of ticked every box. It was on a day that worked for me. It was at a time that worked, and then it was a virtual, and came to the launch, and there was no hesitation. It was tick, tick, tick. You run a fantastic networking group, and I
Thank
feel
you.
very lucky, just in a short space of time, to have the support that I've got at the moment, with everything that's going on in my business, is just brilliant. Brilliant.
Thank you so much, Jackie. That's lovely, and I'm so glad you're enjoying it. And I know actually that you made some really good connections even in that first launch, which is an information meeting. So even if it had just stayed there, you'd have made some great connections. And you said something to me. I remember going off script here, that for you, part of the decision process was when you were in breakout rooms with existing members and the things. So it's very easy to hear someone effectively. A launch was my pitch for launching the group and why you would want to be a member. But actually, for you, what sealed the deal was being in breakout rooms with existing members and what they said. Is that right?
Absolutely. I was put into, I think it was either 2 or 3 breakout rooms, and there were members that were joining this virtual group, and there were members from elsewhere. And I think, it's all part of my due diligence. I just wanted to know, why Athena. I think it was more about why Athena, why not? There are plenty, there's lots of networking groups, and networking works for all different people. And I'm a big fan of networking works. It's just finding what group is for you. And I want to know, why was everyone at this launch, and if they're existing members, and why. And the resounding comment was yourself.
Oh,
You a fantastic networking group, and it became a question of, I'm asking the question, why Athena? And when I left the meeting, and in those 10 minutes, and I got the form to complete for them to join, the question I was asking myself was, why not? There was lots of things in my whys, but when I looked at my why not list, There was nothing. Well,
Mm.
when there's nothing in your why not list, you go ahead.
Go ahead.
And that's why I ended up joining, because if it's led by you and everyone already raved about you and said fantastic things, what was there, and everything else lined up, why would I not? Why would I not want a piece of that pie?
Amazing. I love that story. Thank you so much. And I'd totally forgotten that one of the things you'd heard was that it was me. So that wasn't planted or deliberate. But so what tips do you have for anyone, a woman looking to start her own business right now?
A woman starting to learn okay, right. I would say networking, and I know people do weigh up that cost. Networking as a whole, it just brings so much more. I started networking 15 months into my business. I'd never heard of networking. And I'm still benefiting now from that networking that was 8 years ago. Um, but I would say networking only works if you're going to work with it.
Mm.
So you've got to find the group that works for you, and you've got to work with it. So every connection that you make, networking isn't always a networking group. It can be a conversation, but make sure you nurture that relationship. Make sure that you do develop and discuss with that other person what are they looking for, what's their business. So I'd say networking is really key, and I'm going to say it and it has to be said, but if you want to be a business owner, or if you want to be an employee of your business, just know which camp you're in. And if you want to be a business owner, delegate. Delegate as soon as you can, because it will just become part and parcel of your outgoing costs.
Yeah.
And look at the value and what is being offered or what is being delivered, and not the cost, which I know is very easy. But there's a whole exercise that I actually take people through on my business MOT, where we actually discuss a whole thing about value and cost. And there's some little hints and tips that we go through to very easily give them something tangible to walk away with and say, actually, this is worth it. So networking and delegating.
That was a really good segue actually then, because you talked about your business MOT. So if I said to you, what's next for you in your business, but also what call to action do you have for people listening? What would you say?
My call to action is always my business MOT, because we in business, and it doesn't matter which camp you're in, luckily for this, you can be an employee of your business, you can be a business owner. We tend to review after 2 or 3 years of doing things ourselves, which is normally the amount of time that people do. We review our IT and our branding and our networking and our marketing and our SEO and all aspects of our business. But very rarely do we assess and look at how are we doing our business. What do we do when that initial customer comes in? What's our customer journey or customer experience like? Do we review that? So I would always encourage people. My business MOT covers customers, it covers data, it covers staffing, and that's outsourced or in-house, covers processes. And I would always encourage people to review that with a fresh pair of eyes. If you've got someone within your business, review it with them. If you want an expert who's been doing this for 20 years plus, by all means, pick up the phone to me. I offer a 15-minute free consultation anyway. But the business MOT, why would you not audit how you're doing business when you review and audit everything else within your business?
Yeah, brilliant. And so what's the best way for people to connect with you?
I have my Facebook page, which is full of social media posts. I have my website, which has weekly blogs, all very useful hints and tips, 10 top things. Or by all means, email me, phone me, contact me. How you get in contact is I would always welcome any initial call. I would welcome and be delighted to have a chat with anyone.
Perfect. And what you can do is when you see this go out, you can add your details in the comments. So that's great. I'll tag you wherever I can. So thank you so much for your time, Jackie. It's been a pleasure getting to know your business and a bit more around your thoughts about owning your own business actually, and the tasks that we do. So that's great. And your thoughts on Athena, which was much appreciated. So for everyone else, if you'd like to visit the Bedfordshire virtual group that Jackie's a member of, it is the fourth Tuesday of the month. So that makes it 23rd of March if you're watching this before then for the next one. So do get in touch if you'd like to come along, or we have 6 groups overall in the Bedfordshire and St Albans regions, and 130 plus nationally, which all of which members can visit for free as long as their profession isn't already taken. So thank you so much. Take care, and thanks, Jackie.
Thank you very much for having me.
See you soon.